Wow, you guys did a lot.
We did a lot. And I had association with them also in the US, so they knew what I was trying to achieve here.
Okay, so because they'd known you from the US.
They came to support what we were doing
I
because
see.
I
I see.
studied at the feet of John Henry Clark and Ben Jekanan and Francis Cress Wilson. I studied
Mm,
at their feet in the
mm,
US. They taught me everything that I knew, and CLR
mm,
James and all of them. So I was blessed to have been in the company and being a student of
mm.
some of the greatest minds, political minds of the 20th century. And I invited them all over to London. And
Amazing.
we sensitized the atmosphere.
You said someone always knew that we couldn't do it alone. That's why it would support the Indians or it would support the
That was
Irish. Who
Marcus
was that person?
Mosiah.
Yes, Marcus Garvey. Marcus
Yes,
Garvey always knew that we couldn't do it alone. So in pushing for the black cause, he was supporting all other people that were being oppressed, right?
yes,
And if we were doing the same thing today, during Black History Month, we should be supporting all other people that are being oppressed. Black History Month should be a time where, if we are keeping in that spirit of Marcus Garvey that he actually started, Black History Month should be a time where we are highlighting all the oppressed people around and supporting them and talking about them. Because, like you said, it's better for us to do it together. So we should be talking about the Palestine struggle during Black History Month. We should be talking about Sudan. We should be talking about Congo. Let me ask you, how do you think it has actually evolved? And I know you've been in Ghana for the past 12 years, so maybe you haven't seen that much of it lately. But how do you think Black History Month has evolved from what you guys wanted to do from the beginning in 1987 and how you wanted it to be something that empowers Black people and gives us power? How do you think it has evolved today?
I am happy with how things have turned out
Okay.
because what you have to realize is that we have the space of October, one whole
Mm,
month in British annual calendar. And permit me to go back a little bit for you to
okay.
understand this. During 1986, 85, 86, organizing the historical lectures and bringing all these people, Angela Davis, Max Roach, Ganaba, all of them, we brought them here. And we realized that the period 87, 88 was very critical in the life of the Pan African world. It marked the 150th anniversary of emancipation in the Caribbean. It marked the 100th anniversary of the birth of Marcus Garvey,
Mm,
the 25th anniversary of the founding of the Organization of African Unity, and the 30th anniversary of Ghana's independence. So we
mm,
put all of that together and said that we were going to celebrate the period 1987-88 as African Jubilee Year. We prepared a declaration called African
okay.
Jubilee Year Declaration, which was adopted by the London boroughs. And the
Mm,
declaration was very clear. The declaration appealed to the London boroughs to be mindful of what was going on in South Africa, the struggle against the apartheid regime in
mm,
South Africa. They should commit themselves not to do anything to support the apartheid regime. And also, what you have to notice is that in 1981, Sheffield, they passed an anti-apartheid declaration and to get their pension funds withdrawn from companies that were doing business in South Africa. Then Brent followed. Then GLC also passed the anti-apartheid declaration. And then they also passed the anti-racism declaration
mhm,
in 1984. London and the United Kingdom as a whole, there was a thrust towards ending apartheid and
mm,
making it possible for apartheid to survive and bringing pressure on Margaret Thatcher's regime. At that time, Margaret Thatcher was in power in
mhm,
the United Kingdom and Reagan was in the US. So
Mm.
these two were also in support of the apartheid regime. So there was a struggle.
Oh, really? They were in support of it, yeah?
Yes, even the local authorities and others were demanding that companies boycott South Africa and even boycott the Krugerland, their gold coins that they were
Mm.
issued. They depended on. Margaret Thatcher came on the air to say that never will they do that. It was a very interesting period in the United Kingdom.
Mm.
So we got the African Jubilee Year Declaration endorsed at that time, I think 120 or so local authorities that have come together to form the Association of Local Authorities Against Apartheid. And this association, all of them also endorsed the African Jubilee Year Declaration. Then we launched African Jubilee Year, I think July 30th at the Westminster Central Hall. We chose the Westminster Central Hall because the first Pan African Congress in 1920 took place at the Westminster Central Hall. And at that time, we invited Robert Mugabe,
Mm.
who was a president of Zimbabwe, to come
Mhm.
and launch it. But
Mm.
there was an emergency summit of the OAU called, so he sent the wife, Sally Mugabe. He came
Mm.
to launch it. And he launched it together with Burning Spear and Dollar Brand, Abdul Rahman.
Mm.
And it was an experience at the Westminster Central Hall. What Burning Spear did that night was incredible. Was incredible. It was so powerful. And the atmosphere was said that it troubled the rector of the Central Hall. So he
Mm.
came to me and said that he was going to turn the lights off and cut off the power. And people were smoking also ganja and all these things. So he was concerned. I
Mm.
said, "You're going to do what?" He said, "Yes, I'm going to turn off this." I said, "Come, come, come, follow me." So I took him backstage and opened the curtains. And when he heard saw what was going on, he quickly
Mm.
walked back and left me alone. That was how powerful the atmosphere was. It was incredible.
Mhm.
So we launched African Jubilee Year, and at the tail end of the declaration said that all the boroughs in London, including the Inner London Education Authority, the Association of London Authorities, and then the London Strategic Policy Committee, they joined together to declare the month of October as Black History Month, and every October after as Black History Month. And this declaration was sent across the country for other boroughs to endorse and all that. And so
Mm.
Black History Month then came to be launched in October of 1987.
Yeah.
And we chose the month of October for specific reason.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew that Black History Month is celebrated in February in
In the
the
US.
US, but I proposed October and had to defend it because there were some at the Greater London Council and also at the London Strategic Policy Unit. At that time, Greater London Council was abolished by Margaret Thatcher on April 1st, 1986.
Why did Margaret Thatcher abolish the Greater London Council?
Look at all that was happening. Then they said that the newly left Red Ken Livingstone and his people, Ted Knight and Linda Bellows and in Lambeth was too radical. And it
Oh, I
was
see.
opposing the central government in their foreign policy.
Okay, I get it now.
London was the heart of it, and the Greater London Council, under the leadership of Ken Livingstone and Bob Watson and Benny Grant and all these people. And also 1987,
Mm.
you remember that we elected 4 Black MPs,
Mm.
Keith Vaz, Diane Abbott,
Oh, Diane Abbott.
yes, Bob Watson, and Benny Grant. That was an interesting period. It was our period because the motivating factor was
Mm.
Africa and the
Mm.
apartheid regime that had to go. That was the driving
Mm.
force. And we were blessed at that time to have Ken Livingstone and others as an enlightened leadership.
But Margaret Thatcher was the support of the apartheid that was happening in South Africa.
Yes, yes, yes.
Whereas the Greater London Council was against the apartheid.
Over 120 barrels across the country were opposed to it, including the miners and trade unions and all that were opposed to it.
So this was a time when the people actually had power and they could go against.
Correct.